Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be going over the user interface for This Land Is My Land, which has quickly become a favorite game of mine. Oh wow, man, I just got photobombed by three Indians. Don't mind me, guys. In either case, let's dive right into it. Alright, so this is what you look at when you're playing the game, and this is the function with the tab key. So outside of the third person view, obviously. Nonetheless, this is where we'll be spending our time today, and I'll try to make this as quick as possible. Starting from the left corner, we have our inventory tab, which we currently have active. This is going to show you everything that's on your person. Unless you've actually clicked on a camp, then your inventory is now for said camp. Minded, the global camp feature is a wonderful addition to the game. What you can do is you can come to this camp and you can actually take any item so long as you're standing within a camp or within a outpost. You can gain access to that instantly without any travel time associated with that. Going back to the inventory tab, if you'll notice, I have some options here. I can put to camp, which in this case, I'll go ahead and get rid of all my weapons to make my load a little lighter. So if I hold the shift key, that will put all of these. If you'll notice, I have 6 of these 38 caliber bullets. If I hold shift and I click put to camp, it'll put all 6. If I just click without holding shift, it'll put one at a time. And if I hit Alt and I click put to camp, it'll give me the option to plug in a number of how many bullets I want to put. In this example, I put 2. So these are very important and make things a lot more efficient as you're going through the game. This also shows you in this general area on both sides of your name, it's going to show you your current karma. And karma dictates a lot of things in the game. And consider it luck. You're going to have bad luck in fights and bad experiences with patrols attacking if you have bad karma. And the same for good karma. Good karma is going to affect you in positive ways. Less attacks by cavalry, less attacks by patrols. Your weapons are not going to break in inopportune times, as I've learned from experience. Wolves will not attack you as you're sneaking up to bases. There's a lot of benefits to keeping your karma in a positive level. There's a lot of things that will affect you negatively if you have your karma in a negative level. Moving on, you also have this menu here, which most people don't realize. If you click on your name, you can actually customize your character. Now, there are some benefits to this. I have a Founders Pack, so I have access to 4 skins automatically. But in either case, if I select all the same skin type, I get a passive bonus for having a full set bonus. That knocks off 1.5 seconds on my intimidation time just from the get-go. Now, these are available if you don't have a Founders Pack for purchase with in-game currency as well as resources. So if you'll notice in this box right here, it actually tells me that I need 1 gold and 150 cloth as well as 2,900 trading tokens and 1,100 skill points in order to purchase this if I so choose. Give this some thought. It's going to depend on what style of gameplay you're intending to pursue. Don't just copy somebody else. Everybody has a unique play style, so consider that when you're selecting your war paints. All right, so we've covered the inventory tab. That pretty much sums it all. This is a scrollable tab, so if you don't see what you're looking for, keep scrolling around. It's also color-coded. Weapons being dark, this dark purple color here. Ammunition being a lighter color purple. And actually it's a brown and a purple. It depends, I guess, on your monitor and whether or not you're colorblind, I guess. But in either case, moving on, all of your parts and plant resources are going to be in this green color here. So that makes for easy identification of things that you'll be needing. Also, just take a look really quick at these notes right here. If I don't have a weapon that can use this ammunition, then it's going to tell me that it's not compatible with any of the weapons that I have available to me currently. Moving on to the craft. You're going to spend a lot of time in this area. This is how you build all of the tools that you'll be using throughout your gameplay. Now, there's a lot of them, so I would suggest you use accordingly the subject that you'll be focusing on. So if I'm looking for healing potions, that's going to be the category that I want to click on to look at all the healing potions. Same for bows, arrows, baits, rifles. You get the point. Um, on the same subject, if I wanted to craft fireweed decoctions, it would take me forever to look for fireweed and buckbrushberry. So one thing I will note here in the craft section that is very valuable in gameplay is if you click this create objective, it's going to actually put it on our next subject tab, which is objectives, and we'll go ahead and stay here because this is pretty universal on the craft tab. Once we create an objective for fire decoctions, we have to select how many we want. I always maximize this until I'm ready to, stop. And that's only because if I'm in a very populated area where there's a lot of fireweed or there's a lot of the resource that I'm looking for, I don't want to miss out just because the objective has been completed. So I would strongly suggest you just maximize that. And as soon as your heart's content, and you have enough resources to craft the amount of items that you're looking for, then just go ahead and close it out with this X here, and you're good to go. Nonetheless, right now the focus being this is our priority right here as far as our objectives go. This objective would grant us 2,000 skill points, and the gray box that pops up when you float your mouse over the objective gives you a little bit more details. In this case, we have to interrogate a couple leaders around to find a specific person. Now, moving back to the subject at hand, if we're looking to make fireweed decoctions, we'll set that as our priority, and now when we're in the third person view, it will start identifying, as you'll notice in these yellow outlined chevrons here as indicators. It's telling us exactly where those resources are. Now this is global. It goes for any item that you're looking to craft. So this is a very useful function here in the game. It makes your gathering and your hunting a lot easier, as well as in these instances, if this were, let's say, a special person objective, this chevron would appear over the special person that we're looking for as soon as you have that bit of information available to you. So just a real quick thing that I'd like to point out that I feel is the most valuable resource for the objectives tabs outside of earning yourself some skill points there. You want to focus on this as well as you're playing through. Right now, I already have the majority of the map discovered and completed. But in either case, these afford you an opportunity. For instance, if you have an intimidation objective for a specific person, like you have to find a leader and intimidate said leader, that'll actually, even if there's other threats in that area, it'll clear out the entire map for you. So that saves you a ton of time and a lot of skin, in the sense that you don't have to engage with the other targets if you complete that correctly. You'll have some kill objectives, you'll have some intimidation objectives. It all depends on the specific objective at hand. One thing to note is as you're looting through a camp, a city, or a post that you have just defeated, take the time to loot as much as possible. You'll find letters, you'll find blueprints that are pertinent to later gameplay. So the letters will give you another objective, which affords you a lot more skill points than you would have done if you were just wandering around. Mind you, wandering in an open game is always an option, but if you're looking to progress quickly, then you want to take advantage of these skill points that are awarded to you, as well as the good karma that you'll receive. That's another thing. If the objective is to kill somebody, you will actually get positive karma for that. So just bear that in mind. Moving on to skills, you can spend a lot of time here, and I've seen a lot of videos that say these are the 3 things you need to start, or whatever the case may be, but it really depends on your unique gameplay style. For me, I am very accurate as far as my aim goes, so I always try to max out bow accuracy accordingly as I progress through. If you intend to use pistols or rifles, then maybe this is where you want to spend your skill points. But to just touch on a few, I would focus on backpack capacity as a general skill point dump, and that's because you are gonna have to make less trips between areas that you're looting if you can carry more. So maxed out, you can get up to 150 in weight, which is pretty significant versus I believe you start out with 60. So, you know, you're more than doubling your capacity in that point. But just spend some time here. Spend some time, get familiar with this. There is no rush at the beginning of the game, and there's a lot of downtime because you're basically just going through resources, which while you're in this map, you can still run and control with the WASD. The only thing you lose function of is your mouse. So panning the camera. All these tabs have specific categories, right? So this is me specifically, which is the warrior or the chief that you're controlling. Scout is exactly that. All of these categories have to do with your uh, territory revealing, your this is an excellent skill to have to identify people without having to don a spyglass. A spyglass you actually have to hold to your face and allow it to load whatever information it is that you see down the spyglass. Um, Both of which are serve its own purpose. But again, in the skills tab, you have categories for chief, which this is actually leadership skills. It will influence the warriors that you have in your camps. So if you want them to gather more resources when you're assigning orders, this is where you would spend. If you want them to at the start, they can only get meat and sinew from animals. If you want them to be able to get pelts, then this is where you would spend. If you need more rare items like wolf claws, boar's tusks, things of that nature, then this is where you need to spend skill points if you are intending to get your warriors to complete those tasks for you. And this would be improving your gathering, which would be wood, stone, flax, things of that nature. Your leadership points. This will grant you additional warriors as you complete tasks, which it can be effective towards the late game. I've never really found a need to spend skill points on this, especially because it's an expensive one. And I would highly recommend that you don't use your clean karma until you're towards the end of your gameplay when you're having to kill because you ran out of stun arrows or because you found yourself surrounded by a patrol, things of that nature, and you had to kill them. You can neutralize your karma by spending skill points on the clean karma. In the hunter section, these are all very self-explanatory, and it really is dependent upon how you're going to be playing. The only universal things that you can use in hunt as a warrior would be concentration, your strike damage, and the sneak skill. All these are going to be very specific to hunting and gathering. All right, that pretty much covers the skill tab. Let's move on to social. And your social tab, this is going to be dependent on whether or not you're a founder, but in either case, a lot of this is available to you with the standard game package as well. The unstuck button is exactly that. You spend skill points if you find yourself glitched where you cannot get out between hay bales or mountainsides, things of that nature. You can click this without losing any of your inventory or dying, and it essentially places you somewhere random on the map in a safe area that you'll be able to navigate again. Your trade window is where you can sell and buy items. Now, this is very nicely categorized, and if you had anything for sale, you can come to my offers and quickly reference those. But you can buy pretty much anything, or actually anything that's available to the game within this trade window. What you're spending is trading tokens. Now, if you're not a founder and you didn't start out with these, or you've run out of them, all you have to do is put items for sale and monitor what the prices are going for, and the people will purchase those for the trading tokens that are available. Um, that does it for the trading window, pretty much. That's self-explanatory. Mail, you'll occasionally get information from the devs or another player in the mail section. Skill points, these will generate over time. You can take these skill points either in their entirety, or you can say, I just want 100 skill points. In either case, those are available to you. All you have to do is confirm, and those will be spendable in your skill point bank. Weight is indicative of your actual social weight. If you'll notice, I have 150 pounds worth of weight in my social. So when I purchase things in the trade window, it actually comes here, and then I'm able to place them in the camp that I so choose. That's available to me in the camps that I've turned from neutral to friendly camps. This is our balance for trade tokens. Um, if you're a founder, you get every 2 hours an ancestor's bow will generate. So I can actually collect this, send it to my home base of Antition, and now the timer will start counting down for my next available Ancestors bow. If you are a founder and you're starting out the game, this is going to be a very versatile bow for you. Right out the gate, you're going to be able to use stun arrows and regular arrows, which if you'll notice, it starts you out with enough wood and flax to make a wooden bow which has wooden arrows. But with that setup, you're doing very minimal damage. Even with this Ancestor's bow, if you're using wooden arrows, you'd only do 59 damage. You can double that by using regular arrows, which I don't know the difference. They're both made out of wood. In either case, the nomenclature is arrow versus wooden arrow. And using the Ancestor's Bow, you can be doing 119 damage as opposed to 59 right out the gate for collecting the exact same resource you would have with the wooden arrow. If you're not a founder, then I'd suggest using the Hunter's Bow for as long as possible until you're ready to upgrade from that. That will afford you the ability to use the same standard arrows as well as stun arrows, which are very important if you're managing your karma. Um, it also gives you a lot of other access to iron arrows, medium arrows, and things of that nature too. So it's a very versatile bow. It's quite accurate. The range is probably right around the middle of let's say maybe the eagle bow or the war bow, something like that. So it's very versatile, and I strongly recommend to use it if you are a founder. Now let's look at the map area. If you'll notice right here, this shows you the progress bar. If you're just starting out, you're going to have a white area right here with maybe 5% and a red area here with a close percentage as well. This is indicating to you how much of the land is friendly and how much of the land belongs to the enemy at the start. Now, all of this is going to be covered by a fog of war. And you're going to be in one little general area with one camp and maybe an outlook or an outpost available to view. So there's a lot of exploration at the beginning of the game it's important and fun, you know, as far as the mechanics of the game go, to just kind of round off your area. So let's say this was my starting camp. I'd want to activate this outlook post here so that I can start the fast travel process and the quick put to camp functionality that I'll explain here shortly. On a more general scale, this is your indicator for your health. It actually gives you a number as instead of just the bar that would be located on the bottom of the screen. Same thing for your stamina, your weight. Also, it'll break down exactly how much you need. If you're overweight, then this number right here actually changes to the amount that you're overweight. This global camp item search is amazing. This will allow me to, let's say I needed a boar tusk. I can, oh, that's not a good example, boar's pelt. If I need boar pelt, it'll tell me every single inventory that I have access to those. So if Mr. Clap Your Cheeks is a base that's way down here on the bottom, I can actually access all of these boar's pelts instantly by shift clicking that. Now they're all here. If I were to single click it, it'd give them one at a time. And if I were to again alt click, no different than the craft and the inventory section, I could say I want 5 of these and it'll give them to me. Now they're going to be listed in my inventory. Everything that I just got is now here for me to play with. And the same thing for putting. If I wanted to come to this base, I can click on this base and put the boar pelts that I just collected, which should be in my inventory here. I probably passed them. Yeah, put them right into the camp and voila, it's immediate. This functionality is also acceptable from your outpost section as well. Here's our bank for skill points. This will continue to go up and down as you play the game, down by spending or by getting knocked down by your enemies or animals. Quick note on animals: if an animal knocks you down, you do not lose the inventory on your person, whereas if a settler knocks you down, then it's the opposite. They're going to loot you, so you're gonna end up being stripped of the majority, if not all, of your items. And just keep that in mind when you spawn back in. Don't rage and run straight back to the enemy because you're not going to have a weapon to fight them with. Another nice functionality of the map is, let's say I was doing some reconnaissance and trying to figure out how to attack this area, but I forgot where I was. It's kind of hard to find as you're playing the game, but in either case, this functionality right here will center the map directly onto where you need to be. Same thing for these camps. If you click on a particular camp, it'll center it on the map for you as well. So you can also manage your camps with this functionality. If you'll notice, it's just like as if I were to click on Tigapec. I get the same menu that's available to me if I click on Italic here. And that gives me access to putting and taking items if I'm standing at an outpost or a camp. I can give orders to my warriors that are located at those camps. I can set up a patrol between camps. All this advanced features I'll go over on a video on their own, because there's a lot of strategy and a lot of in-depth information that I can share with you guys as far as using that effectively. Just to briefly summarize your camp menus. This is how you travel to a camp. This is not a menu that's available for outposts. So when you click on an outpost, it'll actually just ask you to fast travel to it. But in either case, when you have a camp that you're traveling to, you're just going to click this travel to camp button. This is your put items. It'll actually bring up its own inventory, which this is the inventory that's on your person. So you are able to basically drop off items that you want to be located at said camp. This is your upgrade feature. I think I briefly went over this earlier. If not, forgive me for my confusion. I've made several of these videos, but in either case, when you scroll over it and hover over it, it's going to give you the items that need to be housed within that specific camp in order to upgrade it. So in this case, we need 5 wolf pelts, we need 10 sinew, and we need 15 rope. Once that's there, this will turn the same color as these clickable buttons. I click it and the warriors will automatically upgrade that instantaneously. If I wanted to, let's say, disband this camp because it's not in an area that I'm able to fast travel because it's too close to an enemy, or it's at, let's say there was a camp located right here on my mouse pointer, that would be a heavily traveled area, so I could settle with this button, and I'll show y'all what that looks like really quick. If I click settle, this gives me from that camp different options strategically to move my camp. So if I select this, what it'll do is if I have available warriors to send, it'll give me that option. One thing you have to note though, if you're going to settle, and this is why I didn't want to dive too deep into the functionality of the camps, that's its video in and of itself, is you have to make sure that the resources that are required to settle with the certain amount of people that you're sending are available within that camp that you're settling from before you can actually settle. Otherwise, it'll stay in this error. It won't allow me to send the 2 warriors without having this satisfied before. And you can elect whether or not to send them with horses. This is dependent on whether or not they are available to you. Equipping your group is giving them weapons and ammunition. Now, most people will run into weight issues here because they have Palmer repeaters or, heavy artillery available only. If you just remove them and select a different weapon with different ammunition, then that'll resolve that issue. Another quick note is you can actually just give your warriors 1 of the appropriate ammunition and they'll fire, freely as needed. so you don't have to send them with a conscious effort of providing them with enough ammo to engage in a fight. Let's see, but yeah, that basically covers the user interface. If there is anything I forgot, feel free to leave a comment down below under the video, and I'd be happy to readdress that either in the comments or in another video, depending on how much information it's going to take. One thing I didn't not touch on is the social tab. If you hit T, then you'll see you're able to speak to people um, within the social chat and maybe barter a trade or ask for advice. The community is traditionally very friendly. It seems like they were having a colorful conversation there, but nonetheless, that's going to cover the user interface for our video today. So if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to leave a comment down below. You can also reach out to me if I'm live on Twitch. You can find me as Threepounder on Twitch. That's THREEPOUNDER, just like the YouTube channel that you've stumbled upon. If you're enjoying this content, please give it a like so that I can use that as an indicator for creating more. If you have suggestions or inquiries on specific things that you'd like me to make these types of videos on, feel free to leave that in the comments sections as well. Or like I said, pop into one of my Twitch streams and just let me know, hey, Threepounder, I'd love to see a video on bow accuracy or whatever the case may be, and I'll get that worked up for you guys. I'm trying to gauge what it is the audience needs currently, and keeping in mind the current meta. This may be a dated video when you watch it, but this was recorded on the 16th of January, 2020. So if you're joining us a little later than that and there's already been a patch, please forgive me if any of this has changed. I'll try to keep an updated video or playlist for tutorials. Without further ado, I am going to leave you guys to hunt, gather, and free your fellow warriors. So enjoy the game. Please reach out in the comments and let me know what you think about the video, good or bad, so that I can improve as we grow together. Y'all have a great, great experience in This Land is My Land, and we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks again for stopping by, and if you haven't already, please check out my Insane Difficulty series. And that's a playlist that's available to within my channel where I'm literally uploading my broadcast from Twitch to YouTube and providing y'all with timestamps that is an invaluable resource for information. I have tips throughout my streams where I have some of my viewers coming in and asking questions. I label that for you guys for quick and easy access. If there's anything that I forgot within that, then you're free to leave in the comments, hey, Threepounder at 3 minutes, I really feel you should add this, and I will get it done. In either case, guys, we'll see you next time. Thank you for stopping by. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing, turning on the notifications, as I will be pumping these out over the next couple of days and weeks and months. So depending on how well they are received, we will continue. And if you'll engage with me in the comments and let me know what it is you'd like to see, then we'll cater those videos to you as well. Enjoy your gameplay, and we'll see ya later.